A to the K.
To the K.
To the K. Coming at you quicker than AEW fans, turning on CM Punk. It's time once again for the rapid roundup. We'll start with SmackDown, but we'll breeze on through because it's pre-War Games and that's old news. So the Street Profits took on the Judgment Day for the tag team titles, but Judgment Day got the win. Bobby and B-Fab backstage appear to be absolutely fuming at the fact that the Profits lost. So what does it all mean? I guess we will find out soon, but what is it with Bobby, man? He just can't seem to get a faction and keep it going. So, yeah, who knows what's happening with this. Kevin Owens and LA Knight teamed up to defeat Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. It seems odd that LA Knight wasn't on the Survivor Series pay-per-view or premium live event. So, yeah, interesting that. Considering how over he is, but is what it is. Also, Pretty Deadly got a win over the Brawling Brutes. And Santos Escobar injures Carlito, meaning he is unable to compete at Survivor Series. And he's replaced by Dragon Lee. So, yay. I mean, I don't understand what this whole thing is with Carlito. They brought him back, a bit of fanfare. You know, I was excited to see him back, and they've done absolutely nothing with him since. So, mental. Strange one all around. But yeah, we don't get to see him compete. So, maybe he's carrying an injury. Maybe there's something else going on. But I am disappointed. Then the last one for SmackDown, it was all about getting the advantage for War Games. It was a tag match. Becky and Charlotte teaming up to take on Bayley and Asuka. And just as Becky has the match won, Charlotte spears Asuka and accidentally breaks up the pin. And that allowed the heels to get the win. And can they coexist? A tale as old as time. Becky and Charlotte, frenemies once more. So we know what happened though there, because again, it's old news. So catch our Survivor Series reaction video to find out what we thought about all that. But talking about Raw, Randy Orton is back. He kicks off the show. He said he had to be back in order to be part of professional wrestling history at War Games, obviously putting over the American Dream. He also has a bag of receipts for the Bloodline, but Rhea Ripley comes out and she says the landscape has changed, the Bloodline has fallen, and the Judgment Day has risen. Orton says he's been watching while he's been away. Every week it's mommy this and mommy that. Well, guess what? Rhea Daddy's back. And yes, he is. He says it's true a lot of things have changed, but one thing that'll never change is nobody tells Randy Orton what to do. And would you believe it? There's a sneak attack from the Judgment Day. Brand new things here that we don't see every week, except we do. But Orton gets the upper hand and manages to fend them off. That leads to a match later in the night. Orton against Dom Dom, and Orton wins, obviously. Following on, we get a tag team turmoil elimination match to determine the new number one contenders for the tag titles. And the Creed brothers, of all people, come out on top, defeating Imperium as the last team. I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised they had enough team, for a turmoil match. But, hey ho. But yeah, interesting choice. Creed brothers now going on Judgment Day. I wonder who will win. We also have Bronson Reed and Ivar. That ended in a double countout. They just start beating the shit out of each other in the crowd. Why not? Piper Niven and Chelsea Green retain the tag titles against Natty and Tegan Nox. And Nia Jax pretty much beat the shit out of Zoe Stark. So her push was relatively short, wasn't it? Cody Rhodes has a big announcement, but first he thanks his teammates for War Games. He thanks Randy. He welcomes back CM Punk. And with all the news and stories, he wants to make some news himself. He officially declares himself for the 2024 Royal Rumble, but the lights go dim and Shinsuke Nakamura comes on the screen. We find out that Cody is the one Shinsuke has been targeting this whole time. Shinsuke appears and mists him right in the face. So, yeah, another side quest for the for old Codester right there. We also get Seth Rollins coming out. He is greeted by deafening CM Punk chants, and he kind of lapped it up a little bit, to be honest, but he said he doesn't want to hear anything more about that hypocrite. He's starting to feel like a fighting champion again, and Drew McIntyre comes down, shakes Seth's hand and says, you know what? Judgment Day told him that they had a master plan. They were going to hand him Jay on a silver platter, but apparently that plan was losing the match, so he's not very happy with the Judgment Day. That explains why he stormed out after the match. But he says he's refocused, he wants to put Jay behind him, and he wants another shot at the world title. He says he only has himself to blame for losing the crown jewel because he showed sympathy for Seth and the injuries that he had at the time. And you know what? Rollins says he does deserve another title match, but he believes there's others who deserve it more. And he says next week he's going to be defending that title against Jey Uso. Drew goes absolutely apeshit, beats the crap out of Seth, and Jey comes down to make the save. And the pair of them team up to hit a super kick on Drew and get him out the ring. Drew runs into Sammy backstage. He says he's going to work his way back up the ladder, and he's asking Adam Pearce for a match next week against Sammy. So, yeah, Drew's playing a bit of a tweener at the moment, I guess. Don't really get it, but I love Drew, so we'll see how it all plays out. Closing out the show, CM Punk comes out. Hell has frozen over. He says Saturday was a career highlight. It's corny, but he's changed. He's come back and he didn't know how it was going to go, but this is where he belongs and this is his home. He says he's been gone for 10 years and people never forgot him. The voiceless have shown their voices and everybody back there is happy to see him. Well, almost everybody. He says some people are afraid. He's set the bar to an unattainable level. He's got the brass ring in his back pocket, and he's the most feared man in the industry, and they just let him walk straight through the front door, and there's nothing they can do about it. But he says the best in the world is back, and his name is CM Punk. As we go off the air, though, he tells the camera he's not here to make friends, he's there to make some money. So yeah, interesting. Is he back for the fans? Is he back to line his pockets? Whatever, he's back, and some people will love it, some people will hate it, but I've no idea where it's all going, and that's at least makes it interesting. Obviously, he's not been thrown into a feud yet. You know, Orton's come back, and he's immediately gone in with the Judgment Day. I think he's on SmackDown this coming week. He's going to do something with the Bloodline, I imagine. So he's already caught up. Cody's now got Nakamura in the Rumble to contend with. I guess we're kind of leaning towards Seth, but obviously Seth's got Jey next week. He's got Drew coming after him. So who knows where it's all going. I don't know where Punk fits into all this, into Cody's story, into the Bloodline thing, into, you know, any of it really. And now, yeah, Shinsuke's in the mix as well. So who knows. But I'm interested where it all goes, and that's what's important. Speaking of important, we talk about the Continental Classic now, which is pretty much the focus of AEW this week. The Gold League action kicks things off. Jay White defeats Roosh, Swerve defeats Jay Lethal, and Jon Moxley defeats Mark Briscoe to all earn themselves 3 points. MJF and Adam Cole come down to the ring. Cole is on crutches, and MJF is using a cane. MJF puts over Jay White, but says nobody is on the level of the devil. He says he's the greatest AEW champ of all time, and none of it is possible without his brochacho for life. Cole, though, says he's nowhere near ready, and he's worried for Max because everyone's coming for him. He's got Wardlow, he's got the devil. Suddenly the lights go out, and the devil appears on the screen and does the shittest laugh you've ever heard in your life. Is it Jack Perry? It was pretty shit. I think it might be Jack Perry. But then Samoa Joe comes down. MJF says he's thought long and hard about his rematch request, and his response is, blow me. Joe is not happy about this. Adam Cole tries to cool things, calm him down. And Joe says, do you know what? He's not going to take MJF out now. He wants the best version of him, wants him to heal up, and he's going to defend the belt at World's End. So we've got the main event announced already for the World's End pay-per-view at the end of December. We have a trios match. Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Shibata take on Jake Hager, Daddy Magic, and Cool Hand Ange, and the babyfaces get the win. Orange Cassidy also has a Thanksgiving surprise in store, the return of that Danhausen. Also, Sky Blue came out on top against Ruby Soho and Anna Jay. And Christian Cage wants to get rid of the losing aura after Full Gear, so he decides he's going to rename his children. Luchasaurus is now going to go by Killswitch, which is interesting. Nick Wayne is going to go by The Prodigy. And Nick Wayne's mum comes down and Christian berates her. He pushes Killswitch into her, knocking her out. Nick Wayne decides to get the chairs. He's going to concerto his own mother, but Killswitch comes and gets in the way. Christian basically says, look, Killswitch, you've got to do it, hit the concerto. But Adam Copeland comes down, makes a save, spears Nick Wayne, and hits him with a concerto of his own as his mother watches on, all sad and stuff. No Rampage this week because what's the point? So we'll talk about Collision, and again, the Continental Classic dominates the show. This time it's the blue side of the league. Claudio Castagnoli gets a win over Daniel Garcia, and Brody King defeats Eddie Kingston, which is interesting because basically Kingston's put his titles on the line, but I guess that means it's just for the winner of the tournament, not anyone I was kind of under the impression it was going to be in every match his titles would be on the line. But no, I guess it's whoever wins the tournament becomes a Triple Crown champ. So if Kingston doesn't make the final, then he loses his belt regardless, and we find out who's going to win them. So yeah, a little bit messy, but Kingston eats a loss, which is interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll see whether he's going to keep hold of them belts. Also, the newly named Killswitch defeats two jobbers in a 2-on-1 handicap match, but Adam Copeland comes down, puts a crossface on him, and hits him with a concerto. So basically, like Oprah, concertos for everyone. You get one, you get one. After the match, though, Copeland speaks saying, what's happened to Nick? What's happened to Killswitch? It's all Christian's fault. He says he's hunting Christian. He's already got 2 heads on his wall, and he's coming for that TNT title. Also, Julia Hart has her first TBS title defense against Lady Frost. She gets the win. Malachi Black and Buddy Murphy get the win over Commander and Gravity. Also, Dante Martin has returned. He's rejoined up with his brother Darius and Action Andretti. Also, FTR got a win over the Righteous, but after the match, Malachi Black says there's nobody coming to help them. No Cesaro, bit of a slip there. No Yuta, no CM Punk, and then they disappear. And the main event, I guess, if you want to call it that, Ricky Starks and Big Bill took out Chris Jericho after the whole press conference. We see some clips about that. So I guess, are they writing him off for a little bit? Maybe he's got some fuzzy stuff to do. I don't really know. But they basically then go and do some promo about the Golden Jets, saying kind of they look more like the Golden Girls and something about chewing gum. Yeah. So that happened. And yeah, Keith Lee defeated Lee Moriarty. After the match, he says he's tired of the misrepresentation. What's next for him is you. He knows who he is. I'm guessing he's alluding to it being Shane Taylor. I don't really know. But Keith Lee doing a whole bunch of nothing. And yeah, besides the Continental Classic, kind of feels like a whole bunch of nothing is happening in AEW right now, which is a shame because all-in tickets go on sale very soon. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like, I know it's a while away, but it doesn't feel like there's loads of excitement around AEW at the minute, especially with the whole CM Punk going to WWE thing. Bit of a hit to the momentum even more. So what do you guys think of the shows this week? What do you think of Punk's promo? What do you think of the Continental Classic so far? What do you think of, yeah, everything going on? Let us all know in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.